Okay, good. So here we are. This is the first conversation. Well, it's not actually the first conversation. It's the first conversation we've recorded where the three of us, Panos in Cyprus, myself in Bali, and Alex all the way in Malta. Maybe we should call this like an island AI conversation type of a thing. I don't know. But we've decided that we should come together and think about this AI thing because it's scary and fast, and I think we all feel like we could be doing more with it, getting more value from it, delivering more value with it. And so we've come together to kind of formalize what goes on, but we haven't formalized the conversation very much today, other than we've decided we should introduce ourselves, talk about what we've got working with AI, talk about maybe what some of the challenges have been with AI, and then talk about some of the things that we'd like to be achieving. And then I think the idea is that we go away in between these conversations, which might happen every week, and see what we can get working, then come back and share notes on it. Am I understanding this correctly?
I think so. We will see where it will head to. For me, it's just like crazy how we ended up, the three of us together. I just sent Alex one message and he was like, Martin is all we also speak with Martin. I'm like, okay, let's do a chat. And then now we start recording our podcast on how we're going to deal with this. I really like the name. It's faked up, isn't it?
I don't think we've decided the
That's the
name
I.
yet. That'll be one of the challenges. But just
Okay.
as a bit of an overall intro, I think what's interesting for me is Martin was one of my first mentors who taught me everything about digital marketing. And from there, I built quite a successful digital marketing agency, which lasted for 10 years. Or, well, I exited, it still exists. So check out Growth Gurus if you're interested. And in that time, Panos approached me and he was my mentee. So I've got my two levels here and I'm sandwiched in the middle. So it's nice to have these different thought processes. And essentially what we're going to be looking at is, I've spent so long and so much money on so many tools of AI and watched every Instagram post and every video and everything on YouTube and done the courses. And I don't feel like I am any further in it. And I'm usually quite good at all this tech stuff. So Martin proposed that the three of us, all coming from different angles, really choose a problem. And I think the problem we didn't tell you, Panos, is we don't know what to call this podcast and
Thank you.
we don't know how we're going to edit it and we don't know what we're going to do. So we said, why isn't the first test figure out how to do a podcast and marketing using AI tools compared to, because we've all run podcasts and done things before, compared to the way we used to do it before. So maybe it'll be faked up. Maybe it'll be something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how this is going to be developing. I am a producer. I'm in the content creation. I'm a CEO of my startup. I try to bring all of the AI tools all together to create content, to get the operations going, to create websites. I don't know. I'm a bit lost in it. I know I'm using ChatGPT a lot and some other stuff, but yeah, we will try to make sense out of it and become better and then show to the world how they can do it also. Yes, I don't know the step-by-step process we're going to take because it's all new, but at least we started with this program now. It's called Riverside, what we are filming now on, and apparently maybe it's going to be auto-edited after we finish this podcast. Let's see.
Tool number one.
Let's see. Who knows? Okay,
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I
we should
think
also
what
have a
we've
list of the tools. Sorry, Martin. Yeah, but it's good he's mentioning the tool we're using. We need to remember to do that and make a list of the tools. So if anyone does watch and are interested, they can find them.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think that's part of the issue is that there are just so many tools. I've got like 105 interviews that I want to clip up. And I think the reason we're using this today is because it has some sort of auto clip kind of functionality, AI clip functionality, which would be amazing. So, yeah, we are just feeling our way. So I think in terms of the structure today, we should introduce ourselves, who we are, what we do, maybe where we've got to with the AI, and and then we can go to like another question maybe after that. So I don't know who wants to go first. Not me.
Okay, I can start. So,
Okay, good.
uh, who am I? The last 4 years I started a business. It's a content production business right now. It started as a creator agency where I wanted to make kind of a marketplace with a lot of creators, from filmmakers to content creators to influencers to photographers, and put them all under one umbrella and connect them to businesses so they can get more jobs and also collaborate together. After 2 or 3 years, it happened that we became more of a production company. So we create the content internally and we became the production house and not just a network. And now I want to get back into the vision to become a network and delegate most of the things outside. And I want to grow all of this with all of my network, but it's hard because I'm not so optimized, and I believe AI will really help me. I have skills in HR, I was actually working with Alex for a year for HR in Growth Gurus. I was finding freelancers. But right now, I am more of a creative director. So I use AI's tools. I use ChatGPT for scripting to put all of the knowledge inside so I can create the first drafts. Then I use AI for short form videos, a lot for subtitles. I use it even for real estate or photo generation. Like if there is a real estate company that has some photos, then I can recreate them and make them into videos with AI. More or less, I'm using AI for that. I'm not really using for any accounting or any calendar or any CRM systems. I still don't use all of those through AI. And I would really like to use them because I think we have the tools now. That's
Excellent.
it from me.
Cool. Good.
I
Where are
can go
you, Alex?
next. So at the
Yep.
moment, well, physically I'm in Malta, but I generally live in Thailand. So I bounce around between Europe and Thailand mainly. I have been, well, my background, I was about 10 years starting very young in the events industry. So essentially I'm an organizer and optimizer no matter what I do. So I organize lots of events and build the systems for that. Then I ended up in marketing and I built an agency and organized and optimized that as the COO for about 10 years. And more recently, I am now functioning as a fractional COO where I help different companies set up whatever they need to. And through this, I've been seeing the advent of AI. So right now, what's interesting for me is like 2-3, when ChatGPT first came out, it was so easy to get like clients to be like, oh yeah, we'll use this and that'll speed things up, and then have shared ChatGPT conversations, etc. But over the last year, so many tools have blown up. I'm almost nervous about recommending tool A because tool B comes out and it's even better than tool A, and that's just like a month apart, like Google VO3 coming out and being so much better than all of the other video tools, but then another one coming out, etc. So at the moment, I would say I use a limited amount of AI tools, specifically during my work, but I have subscriptions to a lot of them, like HeyGen, where I'm building my own avatar clone, which is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, or than advertised, or maybe I just didn't give it the time it needs. And I think my whole goal from these conversations we're going to have is to identify use cases that I can go and work on. Because I really like it when people say, oh, we have this problem, and then I get to go and fix it. Whereas right now I'm thinking it and trying to do it and getting a bit distracted. So that's my angle on this. Like, what are your problems? What are your thoughts? And can I go and find some tools that might solve it? I'm going to try and look for free versions just so, other people can just try out the tools themselves. And then if not, find the most relatively cheap one to use. But myself use a lot of like I use ClickUp a lot, and then it has AI embedded into it. So I found myself interacting a lot with the AI tools that are built into existing tools that I use more than new specific tools, because I get excited about it, but I try to stay native to what I'm used to, if that makes sense. So that's sort of my angle.
So what sort of stuff have you done? I know some stuff that you've done. You did some interesting things with contracts and things you were telling me about at one point. So I think that might be a way that it hasn't occurred to other people maybe to be using
So
AI.
okay, let's take, for example, I bought a property in Thailand, right? And to do that, there's a lot of different Thai legislation and Thai law, and obviously Thai lawyers are not cheap. So being able to use, I was mainly focused on ChatGPT, being able to use its search features to understand the laws. And what I usually do is I have one that I train it or tell it to be like the research assistant, one to be the lawyer, and then one to call out all the lawyer's bullshit. So I kind of have three of them working together. So when I was first looking into it, I had one that was helping me research what are the laws in Thailand, how does it work. Turns out, unless you set up a company, I can't own it, so I have to lease the land, but I own the building on it, right? And it took a while for me to wrap my head around this. So obviously I spoke to real lawyers as well, but instead of burning hours of their time, I got the information there. Then I tried to understand, how do you put that in legalese? So I had the legal part do that. I uploaded all the contracts. I had it edit them with me. And then I had another GPT, which played like the devil's advocate from like the other person's perspective. What's everything they're going to call me out on? So I really try to avoid just having like one chat, which is my be all and end all. I try to have different GPTs that have different perspectives on what I'm trying to achieve. I have noticed though
Okay.
that since I activated, you can have the memory feature, which is access to all chats, that actually made them work less good in that function. So I think next time I do it, I'll need to turn that off so that the chats are seen as separate, or I'm going to try and do it with like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude just to have different AIs. So that's one method I was using it in a personal way to really understand the legal framework and be as detailed as I want without spending so much hourly rates on lawyers.
Okay. And didn't you do some stuff with employment contracts?
Yeah. So for one of my clients, we were setting up companies in different countries and setting up different company structure types. I mean, it's all of it's NDA, so I can't go into too much detail, but identifying exactly what those company structures are and then the exact type of employment contracts that they need, and then creating the templates of those contracts with GPT and then working with HR to build it up. And so it's one sort of system that eventually we built was that you just have like a quick interview with the hiring manager, ask them the main bullet points, extract that information, and then a GPT that was trained to fill out the job description would take that information, fill it out as best as it can, ask any clarifying questions. So we tried to make it conversational. So everything was highly documented because we would have super detailed items that would come out. And from the job description, you would then have great ability to have job adverts and set the KPIs and do all of that great stuff. And because of the memory feature, it kind of knew all of the jobs and who was related to who. So that was one method in which I also leveraged, again, ChatGPT, but leveraging the memory feature.
Okay, cool. Good. Interesting. So where I am, my name's Martin, and I feel like I've been on this rodeo before because I'm a little bit, like quite a lot ahead of you guys. I ran a marketing agency, which I founded in 2005. And I was one of the people who was responsible for selling the internet, selling search engine optimization, selling email marketing, social media marketing. That's kind of what I did for 9 years. I was a lecturer with the Digital Marketing Institute, which is how I know Alex. Alex turned up on one of my courses in Malta probably about 10 years ago. So I kind of feel like I've been on this journey a little bit before, although obviously this is quite different again. So what I do now is I'm a corporate trainer, and I've got away from marketing, thankfully. So now I'm doing kind of much more leadership, managerial, soft skills kind of trainings. AI has definitely changed my life. It's largely a ChatGPT that I use because what it's done is it's made it incredibly easy. When somebody comes to me and says, "Can you give me an outline around this course?" then it's really easy to do that, put something together with ChatGPT, and then make it something that's good enough for them. Obviously, it's not good enough for them out of the traps. And then the other thing that happened is at the beginning of May, when the new image generator came through with ChatGPT, that changed my life again. I felt like it was like you see in the movies where the sun comes up over the planet and the light and the warmth comes to people, and that's how it found me. I did stuff in May that I've been wanting to do for 20 years that I couldn't find a graphic designer to help me with. And so that was amazing. All of my decks now look great. I've had like little Arabic figures because I teach in the Gulf states. I've had little Arabic figures that cost me $20 and were awful. And I've got amazing characters throughout all of my decks. So that's how I kind of feel. That's how I'm using it. I'm using it to help me with outlines, to help me research things, to make things look beautiful. I did create an agent or a program to help me learn a language, but then it wanted me to install things on my computer that I didn't know how to do. And so the wheels came off. So I think that's part of the frustration, like you say, is it's not quite as easy as they would have you believe. And maybe that's a good point to start thinking about what the frustrations have been. So for you, Panos, what have you found frustrating about these new tools?
I think for me that I use a lot of the ChatGPT. So one frustrating thing is that even though I train it, like I think I thought I trained it, like it makes me sometimes the same mistakes, even if I told it to make to be specific in the way I want it to work. So I always find that there is always a kind of mistake, and I always have to be analyzing everything every time. So it's for me it saves time to conceptualize, but at the same time for scripting, let's say it's frustrating because it always feels like a chat GPT. So I need to find a way to humanize it more, or make it not make mistakes, but at the same time not sound so robotic all the time. But anyway, it's a robot, so I don't know. What other is frustrating? I think the slow in the generation of videos and in the credits is frustrating for me now that I have some subscriptions, and the credits just fly. You use it a bit and then they are out. So for video generation is very expensive if you want to do video production all the time. Yes, I 10 credits, 20 credits is nothing. It's just to see how it's gonna go. My
Yeah.
frustrations are this right now, and that it still feels robotic in all of the things, but it's still amazing that this exists. So it's a talking buddy that I always have with me, and it's very nice.
Good. Alex?
I'm going to start off with one, which is not a frustration, but it's like something weird that's happened over the last few days. So since ChatGPT upgraded its voice model to sound so human-like, it actually made me want to speak to it less. Like, I'm fully aware that it's not a human, but it's got the intonations and everything so precise that I often just like wish it sounded more robotic, because then I feel like rude when I ask a question and then I cut. So it's less of a frustration. It's just I think there's a line that it's passed for me where I wish it didn't. I wish it still felt, like an AI rather than sounding so real. I know that's really weird to say, but a few people like I showed it to, and then I thought, do you feel the same way? Like if I put this thought into your head, they were like, actually, yeah. I get what you say. Other frustrations are more around the industry, how it sort of auto cannibalizes itself so quickly. So, someone's building something and you're really excited about it. And then the next minute, someone's built something even bigger and better. So then you get excited about that. And then it's even bigger and better. And it's so hard at the moment for me specifically to keep up. And I think as well, a lot of the terminology, like, for example, I'm sure you guys have heard of there's Zapier, there's Make, and there's N, and everyone's like, oh, N8N is the best one to build agents. So whereas my argument is maybe you could call them agents, but I think there is more automations which you can stick like an agent which does some reasoning inside it, but that's more automation flows. And I think agentic AI, again, I am no expert by any means, so I might be buggering up all the terminology myself. But I think I haven't actually experienced like specifically an agent that does something for me yet. I've heard a lot about them. I can build automation flows, which people are calling agentic, but I don't think that is truly an agent yet. So I'm curious to see when it's real. There's different marketing platforms, like there's one called Sintra, which tells you've got like 12 agents working for you. And that seems interesting, but to me, that's more like a reskin ChatGPT with sort of pre-made tasks, and then they figure out what they're doing. So maybe part of it is that I research too much and execute too little in building these agents, and that's why I haven't executed it. But I think my frustrations are more along like how much talk there is, how fast it's growing. But when I sit back, Zapier has been doing the same thing forever. Make an N8N just seemed to be like really fancy versions of that. And we didn't call it AI back then. We called it automations, which is what it is. So I get you can stick a reasoning bot in it, but is that really an agent? So I think these are my areas where my imagination is going wild with everything we can do. And then I'm finding out maybe we can in the future, but we're not there yet. How about you, Martin?
Yeah, I think my frustrations are, what are my frustrations? I'm also frustrated that it makes mistakes. So one of the things that I talk about is like a 6 thinking hats thing. So that's 6 hats. And I've tried to produce an image because I've done like a Pixar style throughout. So it's all like consistent. So I've asked it to produce this one image of these 6 Pixar characters, each wearing a different color hat. And because he's Maltese, isn't he, of course? And one of the people is always cut in half off the end. And it's just the most annoying thing because I must have tried it 20 times. And it's just like, just do it right. And then the thing about that is that I've been told by somebody who teaches AI that every image we generate costs the same amount of energy as like a phone charge. Well, I charge my phone like overnight, you know what I mean? So that seems like an inordinate amount of energy. And that comes to probably my second kind of challenge, frustration is, why does it have to be so cheap and so expensive? Like, so I pay $20 a month to ChatGPT, and I'll never have to pay for a copywriter or a graphic designer ever again for $20 a month. But immediately you get into video, like you say, Panos, it's like $15, some points, credits, whatever. It's never clear what you get for a credit. So I think there's a big issue with like the pricing. It's either way too cheap or it's way too expensive, and it's not transparent enough. And then I think I'm also frustrated, like you, Alex, in that there's just too many tools and who knows what to invest in. This is like at the beginning of websites when you had to code a website with HTML and then you had to code it with the next greatest thing, whatever it was, Java, and then you had to code it with Python. And then you didn't have to code it at all because now the generators came through and the GUI systems came through. And then anyone who'd built their own website was screwed basically because they couldn't find anyone. It feels like that, but on steroids, because what do you spend any time learning? Because immediately, like you say, VO3 comes through and all the other video things are junk, supposedly. And I think I'm also like you, stuck in that place where I'm looking at things, getting excited about them, but then by the time I actually do anything with it, it's like, it's gone, it's past. It's like there's something better, you know? So I think this is an issue for the industry. It's got like lots of issues, and it's interesting to see where it's going to end up. Like, is it going to end up like social media where there's 5 platforms and everyone is on one of those platforms? Or is it going to, are all these platforms going to end up like MySpace where nobody's on those platforms at all, you know? So it's really difficult to know what you're supposed to spend, where you're supposed to spend it, what you're supposed to invest time in. And I think what happens is, and I think part of the reason this is a good idea, is because you spend so much time just looking at stuff and not doing anything that, you know, I've been collecting in like a keep thing, AI clips that I've been finding interesting. There must be thousands in there now. Like if I go back more than 20 minutes, it's going to look stupid, you know? So I think those are my frustrations. There's something around the pricing. There's something about it doesn't quite work. And there's something about it's moving too fast. I don't know where to get on or what to invest time in. And it feels like all three of us are probably a little bit stuck on ChatGPT. So that's where we are. Should we talk about, like, philosophically, like maybe what we're really excited about and what we're really scared of? Because I just want to get it out. I want to tell the world, you know, how I'm feeling about those things. So Panos, what are you excited about and what are you scared of?
Yeah, I'm excited if it's possible for me to optimize my business and the workflows I have. This will be amazing, and also to help other content creators get more jobs. But at the same time, I'm also scared of where this is going because I see it being implemented everywhere and in glasses and in realities and all of these things. So when we will have like a big generator and can generate all the prompts visually 3D, then it will be a bit scary, I believe, because we will change the way we're living. But that's like my whole philosophy, conspiracy theory a bit. But in general, I am excited more than scared. It's just I see the dark side also.
Yeah, that was one of my other frustrations. Is I wanted it to teach me to speak Indonesian, and I managed to finally get it working one Saturday morning. And within
Yeah.
about 5 minutes, it got properly moody with me because I was saying, like, could you slow down a little bit? And it was like, I think that's enough for today. I think you've done enough. And it was like I was getting told off by my computer. It was really quite like a moody teenager or something. It was really interesting. So what are you excited about and what are you scared about, Alex?
I think for me, it's more time based. I think I'm excited short term. I think it's, opening lots of doors and lots of new methods of working and enables people with an idea to now get that idea to, like, maybe not MVP stage, but, now if I have an idea for an app, I've been messing around with Replit, or you can go there and create the MVP version of it and go, oh yeah, this is what I'm thinking. And so I think for business owners and that sort of level of people, I think it's a great tool to speed up business ideas, and then you still need the teams of humans to kind of implement it at this point in time. So really that's what I'm excited about. I think on a personal level, I mean, for people, it's like really useful for me because I'm a very detailed oriented question person. So my personal trainer, give me X amount of time, but ChatGPT helps me count all my macros when I can't scan it and put it into my fitness app or whatever or my fitness pal. When I want to change my workout regime and stuff like that, I can ask it. When I'm at a gym and there isn't the machine I'm used to, I can ask it. So I'm excited by how fast I can get information now. But then on the other side of it, right, the fear is that really now, if you think about it, having information is no longer valuable. Like before, like the internet, having information was super valuable. If it was in your head, you could like teach it. I'm not trying to say teachers aren't valuable, just people with a lot of information, and that was their value hold, right? And then with the internet, you had to kind of research this and research that and cross-research. But now with ChatGPT, having information in your head is useless. So humans now have to go to like the society of imagination. What can we imagine to come up with using this really fast informational spread we have? And on that, it keeps going once these agents are real. And if you watch, what all the leading CEOs of Anthropic and Sam Altman, etc., are all talking about is how agents are going to come and kill off a large percentage of the workforce. And I wish I read the email before, but I signed up to all these AI newsletters, and there's some leaked email from Amazon that I guess we'll all see on our news today, which is about how AI is replacing the workforce. So previously, when technologies came about, it would kill a few jobs and then make so much more, right? And I just think AI is mixed with robotics is going to replace at such a fast rate, and AI robots can build their own AI robots and they can teach each other to do other jobs, that the unemployment rate and what that's going to do to the economy is really probably the main fear of mine, because having been in marketing, right, I know exactly what it's like. When it's up, it's all good, and when it's down, it's really bad. When you're running a marketing agency, you feel, you feel that flow. It's kind of like if budgets are low, marketing goes out the window first. It's not legal or accounts because you always need them. Now that I'm not really in marketing, it's not that fear. I'm just saying I understand the ebbs and flows, but the fear is that how much replacement is going to be done. And I don't even think it matters if it's good replacement. How many business owners are going to get excited because someone's selling them all these robots and all this whatever? They're going to be like, yeah, fire all my stuff, buy these robots, input them, and then their quality starts dropping. So there's that side of it. And if they are good at doing the job, then, and if a bunch of competitors replace humans with robots and it's a one-time purchase and very minimal fee to maintain them, then all of a sudden all prices are going to drop. So you're also going to have like an economy war of things getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Where does that leave space for people to make money? So I think that's really it. How much is this going to impact the economy, and how much revenue is going to be lost for the average business owner of a small to medium enterprise? I think that's mainly where my fears are.
Good. Okay, so I think it's going to be a mass unemployment event. And I think the example they give is like when the car replaced the horse and carriage, or when the ATMs replaced the bank tellers or whatever, then it created different kinds of work and different kinds of jobs and stuff. But I think this is going to be a mass unemployment event. I really do. I've seen Mark Zuckerberg talking about 90% of their programmers will be AI programmers in a year's time. So that's 90% of Facebook's programmers are going to be out of work. So what's going to happen to those people? What's going to happen now to the graphic designers? I'm never going to use a graphic designer ever again in my life. So what's going to happen to those people? Like now I'll go to Fiverr and I'll say, I've got this thing, I need it tweaked like this. And so it might cost me $5, but I won't go. The thing is, graphic designers were always a pain in the bum. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, now this just gives you what you need. And when you go back, it gives you something else immediately. And it's not like, yeah, but I'm the artist, I'm obviously right and you're obviously wrong. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that conversation anymore. So lawyers are going to be out of work, because why would you go to a single lawyer with his experience of whatever contracts when you could go to ChatGPT and it's read all of the contracts in the world? Why would you go to a doctor? So it's going to be a mass unemployment event. Where are we? We're copywriters, graphic designers, coders, doctors, lawyers, Anyone who works in a factory, anyone who drives who?
Maybe accountants.
Accountants, 100% accountants. Like now, I know when I go away and I'm working for 3 weeks and I get an Uber to and from the venue every day, now I can upload a zip file to ChatGPT and say, put this in a table for me, and it will just give me the table. It used to take me an hour and a half or 2 hours to do that, and I don't even need to do that anymore. So, and I was having this conversation with a group a few weeks ago, and I was saying, look, I think I'll be okay because there's not an AI coming that's going to stand up in front of a group of people and educate them and motivate them and give them a good time and all this stuff. And I was quite happy with that. But I think graphic designers were probably quite happy before May. I went home and I'm lying in bed that night, not home, back to the hotel. And I'm lying in bed thinking, there's not going to be any people to educate or motivate. You know, it's like, so I'm not safe. Like, and I do an entirely human thing. Where I see it going in terms of like content generation is, I think it's going to be real-time content generation where you're going to sit in front of the TV or put on your goggles or whatever you do, and you're going to say, look, I fancy watching something a bit like this and a bit like that with this kind of plot twist and that kind of thing and these kind of characters and that actor, and it's going to generate the media for you in real time. And it'll be the same with music, and it'll be the same with games. And so all of those content creators, I'm sorry, Panos, I think are going to be kind of challenged unless they're really driving this thing. So that's my frustration. That's my fear. And also, I think famously, Facebook, Google, these corporations don't contribute to society. So how do they get to put all of these people out of jobs, you know? And then to go to the darkest place, our culture doesn't have a great track record of looking after people who don't add value in society, you know? So, I mean, it did get dark, I'm sorry. But I think that's where we are, is like lots of people are going to be out of jobs. And your point is perfect, Alex, is because nobody cares about if it's a good replacement or a bad replacement or whatever. If it's a cheap replacement and it adds something, put something in my pocket, that'll be good enough. And the question is, here's the big question is, no one's creating an AI that's going to come and buy your stuff. So who's going to have money to buy anything if all these people are unemployed? Yeah, maybe we should move on. The excitement is obviously exactly like you, Alex. I get to get stuff done much quicker than I've ever been able to do it. I don't have to talk to a graphic designer or a copywriter or a web developer or whatever. You know, we can just swing into action. And I think the most positive thing I'm thinking now is that probably the three of us are in the part of the population who know it's coming and have been close enough involved to these kinds of things before, maybe to be on the right side of this. You know, maybe we'll be in the 5 or 10 or 15% of people who come through this and do better in future. But I do worry about the people who aren't. And I worry about me, which is why we're having this conversation. I need to shut up before we all want to end it all. Let's go to what we want to get done. So let's do that thing next, Panos. What is it that you are hoping you're going to be able to get done now with AI that you weren't able to get done before? And have you tested it? That's the question.
No, I haven't tested. I really needed to get into my operations and my network and data that I have from how I produce content for clients, from crowdfunding videos to like short content, and how I'm delegating stuff. So profiles of other creators and directors and scriptwriters. I want to make an automation system that works with AI. And this is my thing. I really want to do it. I don't know if it's going to work out with the tools we have right now, but it seems possible. So yeah, I want to use it. I don't use it. I am more of the content creation. I'm more into the creative director help that I get from AI. It's more or less like I'm speaking to it, it comes back to me. There is no automation there. It's just I'm like using Google in a faster way, the way I do it.
Right.
Okay, maybe the shorts and the reels I'm doing right now with some AI for captions, it's amazing. With the shorts, it doesn't, the captions it puts. But at the same time, because now social media platforms understand that it's AI, sometimes it doesn't really push it as I really see the AI generated content. It somehow doesn't push it only if you are really a dedicated AI platform or you make something really unique, but it understands if you just do everything from AI. Like Instagram understands it now.
Okay. Okay, so it's much more operationally. You want to be supporting your business, maybe automating some of the stuff that you don't like doing so
Because
much.
this is the problem with my business, like the speed. And some of the speed is about delegation. So right now, if I had like 2 times better delegation, I will be getting money from clients faster, and I will be doing faster business development also.
Okay, cool. Alex?
So for me, how can I explain this? I work with a few different clients, right? So as a like sort of fractional COO, I'm looking at different people. It's usually the sort of C levels and the ones underneath them, and from that perspective, I get to understand a lot of different problems that they have. And I think really the angle or this journey that we go on together, I would like to see not how can I explain it? How to learn to teach or change the psychology of people into understanding how to leverage AI for themselves. So like this question you're asking me, I want to be able to figure out how to ask people that question, guide them through it. So, from years of operations, there's a million workshops I can do, whether it's from personality tests and then EOS and all of the different types of game storming and things. And that always got me to a point where it helped people be a bit better. But now, can they be a bit better and have the psychology of this is how we can use AI, but not feel replaced by it and not get lazy from it? I'm not entirely sure how to express it entirely, but I feel like I want to go on a journey of exploring different tools or methods of thinking about the tools rather than the tools themselves, and figuring out how people can adopt them, whether it's generative image or video or creating avatars or text or prompts, or what I was talking about, having different ones or agents, so that when I'm speaking to people I can say, okay, this is your problem, why is it a problem for you psychologically, and then can you get over that, and now can we build something that can help you overcome that problem? I think that's really the goal for me.
Yeah, and I think lots of people, because it feels like we're in that situation, and I think we're probably in the percentage of the population that's probably most aware of this. Do you know what I mean? But they must be, like, the wider population must be feeling the overwhelm, the confusion, the not being able to keep up, all of those things. Out of this process, I just want to know, I just want to feel like I know, like I've got a grip on what's going on. Some of the things that I teach now are digital transformation and digital leadership. And up to this point, it hasn't been strongly about AI, but it's going to get to the point where it is strongly about AI, like how are you leveraging AI to lead, to transform, etc. I've got a very simple thing that I want to do. I've got 106 interviews that I did, but the quality of the video isn't great, or the audio, and I want to clip those things up to market them. Excuse me, because I've still got that. I don't do marketing anymore, but I've still got a bee in my bonnet that I want to fix the world of marketing still, and I want to get all those messages out. So I want to replace the people I was interviewing with characters, like cartoon characters in those things, make them really presentable and put them out. I do worry that it will be a bit spammy because I've looked at some of these clip things and they're coming up with like 30 minutes per hour and a half of video. But yeah, so that's one thing that I definitely want to do. And I definitely want to feel like I know what's going on and I'm up to speed with it. And I know what the actual capability is, because I think we're we're at the top of the hype cycle at the moment where it supposedly can do a million things and people clearly are making it do some really cool things. But I don't think that's available to most of us. So that's it. I think this would be useful for people if we're doing this kind of in real time, in public. The first thing we need to do is make some decisions about this thing. Like, we've decided we're going to come together each week and set ourselves challenges, etc. Then it's about what we do with this. So I think this probably needs a strategy. This needs a brand, if we're going to do it. And I think it might be interesting or useful if we make that this week's challenge. Like, let's go away, pick a tool each and ask it to give us a strategy, and maybe an idea of what the brand should be, and then come up with ideas of what the brand looks like. So I know you're married to ChatGPT and you don't want to even flirt with anything else, Alex.
No, I would love to move on. No, I'm not married to it. I'm just dating.
Heavy dating.
Yeah. No. I've been experimenting with other tools, but yes, the first thing I would do for figuring out the strategy is, like you called it, use ChatGPT. So I will look at others too. I promise.
So
Okay.
what are
Well, I was thinking we
we?
could.
What strategy to what direction? So for us to help us, what is going to be the brand of the discussion we
Yeah.
are doing?
I think
Yeah.
if I had to set it into two challenges, I would say
Mm-hmm.
challenge one is go out, use AI, and try to build a brand from it. Whatever that means to you, we all have a different understanding of a brand. So let's just come back with what we can. And then secondly is using AI, figure out a strategy how to maximize this, knowing what the three of us want, right? So Panos, you want to optimize your business. Martin wants to be in the know and be able to talk confidently about it and to educate people on AI. And I want to understand the sort of psychology of how do people in operations or running a business employ AI without feeling like it's going to make them redundant or have to kill off all of their stuff, right? Although mine's a bit complicated and weird, maybe I'll simplify it. But can we create a strategy where this podcast helps us achieve that?
Yeah. So after all, it's a podcast. That's what I want to say.
Well,
Like
for now, it's three of
where
us
we are
recording a
heading.
conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think. I mean, I think podcasts are a bit wanky personally. So maybe that's part of the brand. Is like, do we market this as a podcast or whatever? But I think because the point of the exercise for me is to have some kind of assessment of the capability. So there's no point in having these conversations if no one's ever going to listen. So maybe let's
Yes.
go out and say, we are starting a podcast. Who should we be targeting? What do they need to know? Kind of like, how should we market this thing? Get it to the people. What are the things we should talk about, et cetera, et cetera. And then how should we brand it for those people? And I'm thinking like maybe come up with some ideas for names, for logos. I still like the faked up thing because it just seems to me like that's what's going on. And I want to be sitting here every week saying that's faked up, that's faked up, that's faked up, whatever, because it feels like everything is going up, but in a fake way. But maybe that's the challenge for this week. So we all go away with the same challenge, but I think we should take different tools. So somebody should take ChatGPT, somebody should take maybe I don't even know what they're called, Gemini. Somebody should take Grok. Somebody should take something else, so we can come back and have a comparison. This is what these things. I want to take DeepSeek. That's what I want to take.
One question: what if? Okay, so at the moment we're calling it a podcast. What if part of the strategy we just say we're three people creating content at the moment and recording it, and maybe use the AI to, maybe it says, oh, hey, why don't you create an account on School, the thing from Alex Hormozy, and create courses out of this? Like, there could be something that we are missing. So obviously we need to use our business brains a bit, but maybe for the first strategy definition, we don't have to limit it to a podcast. So we can give it all the information. I'll even get the transcript of this podcast and stick it into ChatGPT so it knows straight from the horse's mouths, I guess. But what about that idea? What if we tell it, how would you go about monetizing this? Because it's not like we're going to be getting brand sponsors or something on this. So,
okay, so why don't we do this? Let's not define it too much.
Yeah.
And then it'll be more interesting when we come back next week and share what it is that we've come up with, I think.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to write a book called How to Write a Book in a Day with AI, but now there's an AI apparently that writes a book every day. So it's like, there's no point doing that. But it seems to me that if there's value in this, it's like me plus AI. So even in this first exercise, it'll be Alex plus AI comes up with a thing, Martin plus AI comes up with a thing, Panos plus AI comes up with a thing. Because I think for those few human beings who are going to get to still be involved with this, it'll be those people who learn how to leverage it and learn how to drive it, and most importantly, learn how to deliver value with it. So, maybe this is the exercise. And it seems to me, I want to be able to talk to people about it, like groups of people. You want to be able to support people to leverage it and get value from it, Alex. You want to leverage it in your business to get value from it, Panos. So it feels like, we are probably where the world is. We're probably a little bit ahead of where most of the world is. Yeah, so that's the idea. Some kind of strategy, some kind of brand. Let's see how good it is and maybe which one's better. So can I do DeepSeek? Is that cool?
I'll use Perplexity, which has a mix of them, and ChatGPT. I think we can all share ChatGPT, but I'll use ChatGPT and Perplexity and see what comes out.
Okay,
We
Panos?
use another free thing. I pay for ChatGPT, so I will find another thing. I don't know which one.
But you can use
Okay.
GPT as well if you want. How you use it and I use it might also bring wildly different results, and then we can compare notes as well.
What
What's
are
the
you using
Google
for?
one?
Gemini.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I can also use
Gemini.
Google Studio is free, which is amazing. That's one thing I want to do actually. When this podcast is finished recording, I'm going to make Google Studio watch it and not give it any content and see what it comes up to. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can go to Google Studio. It's totally free. Share your own screen. Like you could be playing a video game and tell it, oh, how do I beat this boss? And it'll start speaking to you and tell you how. It's mad what you
Okay.
can do with Google Studio. Like, I don't know why I'm still on ChatGPT, honestly.
Because
Okay, well,
you
let's do that
became
then.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, cool. So let's do that. That's our challenge. Are we going to make this a Thursday evening thing that we record? Are we going to go live with this? I suppose we need to. Can we go live with
find out the
this
strategy.
technology, Riverside?
Yeah.
Let's find out the strategy there. Let's see what it recommends. So next week, then, same time on Thursday, if that's cool with you guys, and then we can
Yep.
take it from there, and then we'll see, how it evolves. I think that's the important thing. One thing I'm really aware of about myself is that I always want these things to do or be the thing that I want them to be. Does that make sense? So I really want to resist the urge to do that this time. I really just want to understand what it is and the value it can deliver without me projecting all of my BS on it about it should be able to do that and it should be able to do something else. So if you catch me doing that, can you please just let me know I'm being a prick?
Understood.
Okay, super cool. Are we good? Are we happy? We got some direction?
Perfect. I look forward to next Thursdays.
Yes, let's
Are
see.
we posting this
Let's
one?
see.
We'll find out based on the strategy. We can't
Yes,
answer
yes.
anything
We
yet. We
save
have a
this.
job to do.
Yes.
So we're not going to post this until. Oh no, I think we have to be brave
strategy.
and we have to just put it up. Yeah, let's just put it up.
Well, we can say goodbye for now for everyone watching, and I can stop recording, and then we can figure that out.
Okay, super cool. All right, good. It's been lovely to see you guys.
Bye
Lovely to
bye.
see you too.
Goodbye.